Friends, today we're going to do this really fun experiment called Snowstorm in a jar. Let's take a look at what we're going to need. So the first part of any science experiment is gathering all of our materials. And right here it says we need first baby oil. I've got my baby oil here. Then it says we need white paint. I've got my white paint. You can use another kind of oil, but it just won't be a clear sky. It'll be kind of a yellow sky instead. But got my baby oil and my paint, and then it says I need a clear glass jar. Now, any kind of clear glass jar is going to be fine. You don't want it to be too big, otherwise you're going to end up having to use a lot of baby oil. But this is just an old jelly jar, so that's what I'm going to use. And then the next ingredient is called Alka-Seltzer. And this is something that a grown-up needs to do, this part. But the Alka-Seltzer and then the other ingredient is glitter. They are both in this little baggie here. But we're not gonna get those out yet. We're gonna put those aside for now. And then if you want, you can have a paper towel or tissue in case you make a spill. And then some blue food coloring. So I've got mine here. So now that I have all of my stuff gathered, I'm going to read my directions. It says, number 1, fill up 1/4 of the jar with water. So that's not very much, just a little bit on the bottom with some water. So I have some water right here, and you can help do this part. And you're going to fill up a little bit. Now, if you get too much, that's okay. You can just pour it back into the jar. But I'm just gonna put a little bit there on the bottom, like that. And then we're gonna add, it says a teaspoon, but if you want, you can just do a couple drops of white paint to the water. So I think I'll do 1, 2, that was about 2 or 3 drops. And then we're gonna stir it up. Got my stick I'm gonna use for mixing. You could use a spoon. Whatever you have, and mix it up really good so all of the paint gets mixed in with the water, and you'll have this milky white water after you mix it. The next step is to fill up the rest of the jar with the baby oil here. So I'm going to open that up. This is pretty cool because you can see I've got my white paint water down here. And even though this looks empty, this is filled to the top with the baby oil, the clear baby oil. And you see how at the bottom, the water and the oil, they are not mixing together. Water and oil do not like to mix. They like to stay separate. So next you can have somebody at home, a grown-up, carefully get these Alka-Seltzer packet out of your bag, and then you can pour in your glitter and a couple drops of food coloring if you want. This step is optional, but if you want to add that, it does make the snowstorm a little bit prettier. So I added my glitter, and look, it's sinking down to the bottom, and it's going down, and then I don't know if you can see here, but do you see those little black dots? They look black in here, but those are actually the blue food coloring dots, and they dropped down to the bottom too, and they're just kind of resting on top of the water. That is neat. For the next step of the experiment, you need to have a grown-up do this part. So we're gonna get out our packet and open it up, and then get out one of the tablets, and then a grown-up can break the little tablet apart into some small pieces. Not too tiny, but maybe about 8 to 10 pieces. Now grown-ups, it's up to you. If you want to do this next part too of putting these in, you can. Or if you feel comfortable that your children are not gonna put these anywhere but in here, then you can let them do that. So we're just gonna pick up one at a time, pick it up, and then we're gonna drop it in and see what happens. Starting to bubble. goodness, look at all that beautiful snow coming down. That is so cool. So you can just let it go and do its snowstorm. You can see on this side, it's really fizzing up a lot. Almost looks like it's getting cloudy over on that side. When your experiment starts to slow down a little bit, you can go ahead and add your next piece. And you can keep on doing that until eventually it'll stop bubbling so much. If you were to add all of these in at once, it would make it kind of overflow a little bit. So you do just want to add one little piece at a time. And then you can see it's bubbling up and then the pieces are falling back down. Have a bunch of little snowballs at the bottom there. Pretty cool. Well, friends, that is our snowstorm in a jar experiment. I hope you have a lot of fun doing yours.